Hello, everyone, and welcome. The day has finally arrived. We've been talking years about this. We've been talking months, and in the past weeks, we've been infiltrating your home with what is the day going to be like, and now we know. It is finally here. It is Monday, April 8th, 2024, and I am joined by a very special guest here. This is Chris Cassidy. This man has done more in his lifetime so far than I will ever do in 3 of my lifetimes. He is a graduate of the Naval Academy. He has a PhD from MIT. He was a NASA astronaut. He was commander at the space station, and he was also the lead astronaut for NASA. Is there anything else we need to throw in there?
Well, I don't have a PhD from MIT.
Oh,
Master's degree,
okay.
but
Master's degree.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I gave him too much
There's
credit.
many hard-earned PhDs that I don't want to be offended, but great to be with you today, Matt.
Yes, it is great to have you here and your expertise with this. So you have been up and you've seen the Earth from above, but you've never seen a total eclipse from Earth looking up.
I haven't. I'm so excited to do this, and looking down from the space station and watching the world go by, it seems so small but so big, and then to be on the ground today with this thing coming right up between you and I, it's going to be incredible.
And I'm glad we get to experience that together, and thank you for being here. It's an honor to have him here. He's also the CEO of the Medal of Honor Museum that's being built in Arlington. If you've gone to a Cowboys game, you've gone to a Rangers game, it's right there. It's a brand new building. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, we're, like you said, we're 1 year from opening. It's a museum that's going to be focused on the stories of normal Americans who did something extraordinary on the day when the nation needed it to them. Medal of Honor recipients. We're going to tell their stories from beginning of life to end, and of course the military service is a key part of that, but it's about people, normal people just like you and I.
It's pretty amazing. And we actually talked a year and a half ago and did a package together, and that was just amazing just to hold one of those. It's actually really light to hold in your hand, and then it's like, oh my gosh, just the weight of it, just knowing what it means.
Yeah, you're spot on. All the recipients that I've gotten to know in this job say the exact same thing. The physical ounces that it is in your hand is not representative of the weight that it takes to wear that thing around your neck on behalf of all the people that they've served with and the nation.
All right, we will have more with Chris coming up. We also have some Midway ISD 6th graders here with us from River Valley Middle School, and we will be getting some questions for Chris coming up a little later on. Of course, we are doing this live online between 12 and 1. We will stay online, but you can also join us on air from 1 to 2 o'clock on Kxxv and KRHD as this big event unfolds. And I can see a little bit of sunshine above me. I'm excited. At 12:21. The first bite of the moon will be coming into the sun at 12:21. We're almost there at the start of the eclipse. We have reporters all over Central Texas, and here's a little snippet of that.
Hey everybody, I'm Lauren Adams here in Waco at Baylor University in McLean Stadium. You can see it behind me. We are here at Touchdown Alley for Eclipse Day. I have my eclipse glasses and I'm here with hundreds of people who are so excited to see the eclipse, and most of all, they're really excited that the sun has come out for a little while and they're hoping it's going to stay that way. Now if you take a look over here behind me, you can see a lot of telescopes behind me. A lot of experts. I've talked to people from Australia, people from the Netherlands, people from Rome, Georgia, who have come here and are using their telescopes to actually see the solar eclipse. One person I talked to said that he was here in 2017 in Tennessee, and he was seeing the solar eclipse there. So he chose to come here to Waco to see it, and that's how extravagant that this celestial event is, and that's why people want to come see it. We are going to have much more coming up from Touchdown Alley tonight at 5 and 6 here on 25 News Kxxv. We hope to see you then.
I'm Madison Myers reporting here in Hillsboro, where we're just a few hours away from the solar eclipse. Now I'm here at the Eclipseboro Carnival. People are getting ready, setting up for this event. There's supposed to be tons of people here. Now doors open at 10 o'clock, so like I said, we're expecting a lot of people to be here. People in this community have been waiting for this event for quite some time, so we're just here waiting right now. But like I said, the eclipse is just a few hours away. We'll continue to keep you guys updated as the event goes on.
I'm Simona Barca reporting at the Central Texas College in Killeen, where, as you can probably hear, the party is getting ready to get started. We've got a line of food trucks behind me, a line of vendor tents on the other side. We've We've got people trickling in with blankets and lawn chairs, getting ready for the solar eclipse. Here in Killeen, the total blackout would start at 1:36 p.m. So we'll be here to share it with you. Until then, I'm Simona Barkap reporting in Killeen.
I'm your neighborhood reporter in Waco, Heather Healey, and we are at the MCC boat dock today. And as you can tell, I thought that the parking lot was going to be way more crowded than it is, but as you can tell, it's really not. But it should fill up in the next few hours or so, we're thinking. And the weather, there was supposed to be a lot of high clouds this morning, but it looks like it's clearing up right now. We don't know if that's going to hold up for the afternoon, so be sure to tune in at Kxxv for Matt Hines, Josh Johns, all of our meteorologists for that. And then here at the river, it's really quiet right now. It's really subtle, really quiet, not a whole lot going on at this hour, at just about 10 o'clock, but we should have some more activity as the day progresses for solar eclipse. Please tell us where you guys are going to watch the solar eclipse from, and stay safe out there today. And again, all of our neighborhood reporters and all of our staff are going to be covering you from top to bottom in all of our viewing area. Again, for Kxxv. For Kxxv, your neighborhood reporter in Waco, Heather Healey.
All right, we are back here live in Woodway, and we have, of course, our team of meteorologists out and about. Well, at least two of us are. We have Caleb back in the studio, but that's an important job. We'll get to him in just a minute. But meteorologist Josh Johns, he's in Bell County right now, at Central Texas College down there. And Josh, it looks like the sun's breaking out a little bit here, and that is some good news. The bad news is we may actually have some severe weather later on tonight, and that'll be a whole other ball game that Caleb will be going over as weather. But as we look at what we're tracking right now, how's it look there in Bell County?
Yeah, Matt, in Killeen right now, it's not too bad. We do have some high clouds that have worked in, though, these high to mid-level clouds. That's making it a little tough at times, but when I put my glasses up to my head, it's not too bad. You can still see the sun. Occasionally you get a cloud moving over it, but I think we're going to be able to see most of the partial eclipse and most of the total eclipse, especially if we can get these little pockets to keep building. But it's not bad. I mean, I thought it was going to be a lot cloudier. Thankfully, I was wrong, and hopefully that means we've got a good view here in Killeen, because they got a party going on right now here at Central Texas College. You can see folks starting to go, and we're just dancing and enjoying the afternoon, looking forward to this total solar eclipse here in Bell County.
And we have to wish Josh a happy birthday as well. You get a total solar eclipse on your birthday, April 8th. Congratulations on that. Hopefully you'll be able to see it just like we will be able to do that here. And meteorologist Caleb Chevalier, an important job. Caleb, clouds are breaking up. Is that going to continue? Again, 12:21 is when this thing starts. Totality at 1:38. What do we have?
Well, that is pretty much what I'm going to be looking at for the next hour and a half, is almost exclusively the cloud cover. This is the latest image staring right over Central Texas from space, and notice there are both low clouds and high clouds, but breaks are involved. The brighter white shades, those are going to be your lower clouds. It started out as a stratus deck, but it's breaking up into more of those puffy cumulus clouds. And if you look really close, the thinner layer, the grayer layer on top are some high clouds, but we have some breaks. That's what we want. Let's take a just county by county view. We've got really good visibility. Mills County, Lampasas County, looks like western Coryell County, you're all right. And again, even if you're seeing this cloud cover out here in the central and eastern parts of our viewing area, there are at least some breaks with this. So that is at least going to work in some of our favor. I don't think it's going to be totally obscured. We will keep a close eye on how this is actually moving, because we do have some extra cloud cover coming in from the south. That looks a little thicker. There's some potential for that to though break up as we go through the next little while. So again, it's not going to be total visibility for everyone, although the farther west you go, it sure does look pretty good. We'll continue to keep a close eye on this picture and give you those minute-by-minute updates as we go throughout the next little bit. And Matt, of course, will be right back here in the studio to check on that as we go throughout the program. But for now, let's go ahead and send it back to your place.
All right. Thank you for meteorologist Caleb Chevalier for that. It's a race against time. We knew it was going to be with the clouds, and hopefully we can get this thing in before all the clouds move in and the thunderstorms later on this evening. And, of course, Caleb will be covering that as well. Of course, I'm sitting here with Chris Cassidy, and I had about a year and a half ago had a chance to go see the brand new construction with the Medal of Honor Museum being built in Arlington, Texas. And here's the story on that.
Where did we find such men? We find them where we've always found them, in our villages and towns, on our city streets, in our shops and on our farms.
Their actions were clearly above and beyond the call of duty.
Their love of country and devotion to each other was always clear.
Where there is a brave man in the thickest of the fight, there is the post of honor.
For over 160 years, it symbolized America's bravest, the Congressional Medal of Honor. In a country of more than 330 million people, there are only 63 Americans living with this highest honor. Our nation's elite heroes now have a home to recognize their sacrifice. A new home right here in Texas.
You want people to be inspired in some way. So a connection with some future person that's going to serve in the some future military service member.
The man leading the effort is no stranger to exceptionalism. Chris Cassidy, the museum's president and CEO, served for nearly 3 decades in the Navy, including 11 years as a Navy SEAL.
Houston, Endeavor, roll program. Roger, roll, Endeavor.
The Navy SEAL program stands for Sea, Air, and Land, but for Cassidy, that wasn't enough. The special warfare operator took his next mission into outer space.
In both cases, it's a small group of people trying to accomplish a risky mission together and do it safely and effectively with the support of a whole bunch of people.
Back on Earth, Cassidy says his new mission is to build the museum by March of 2025.
With the museum holding this right here, with the turmoil of our country right now, you think this is a unifying thing?
Oh, no doubt. It doesn't matter what state, what political lean you have. Your connection to the Medal of Honor and the people and the stories is instant, and it goes deeper and beyond any part of political divides.
Located just feet away from where the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers play, the museum will be in the path for thousands to walk through its halls each year.
That is the center of the National Medal of Honor Museum in the future home. Medal of Honor Day is March 25th, and that was our groundbreaking ceremony, both in a ceremonial way, and then the very next day we started what you see here. Our website, mohmuseum.org, you can go there, learn more about the project. If you're interested in supporting, you can click Donate Now. In fact, every dollar helps, and don't go to Starbucks tomorrow and give us the $6.95. We'll take it.
Finally, a place for our nation's bravest heroes to call home, right here in the heart of Texas. And just an amazing story there with Chris Cassidy with me, and of course, astronaut and everything like that. But now that you're out of NASA and that you're doing the National Medal of Honor Museum, just an incredible endeavor going on there.
Yeah, it's interesting where life's path takes you. I never envisioned myself being part of a museum, but it's so special. It feels like continuing to serve the country by out of the uniform by delivering this to the nation. Happens to be here in Texas, but it's a museum and a repertoire of stories for the whole country.
And that is pretty good. Well, it's time to talk about the eclipse, okay? We have some 6th graders here and want to go over here. They are from Midway ISD and River Valley Middle School. How are you doing? Let's introduce everyone here. Who are you?
I'm Addison.
Yeah, that's my daughter. I knew that.
I'm Allie.
I'm Nadia. I'm McKinley.
I'm Brooks. I'm Noah Myers. I'm Austin.
My son.
I'm Reed.
I'm Isaac.
All right, Addison, I guess I'll just start with you. You have a question for Chris?
Yes, I do. What is your biggest concern about going to space?
Oh, Addison, that's a great question. There's a lot of training goes in for us as a crew, but also for the whole team of specialists that is working on every single space mission. So that goes from the pre-launch planning to the construction of equipment and, of course, the rocket. But at the end of the day, there's always a little bit of risk that's there. So my biggest concern is knowing that our families are watching us. We feel pretty confident inside the capsules, but even when I watch my own colleagues launch, I have this nervous feeling the whole time of, oh my gosh, go, 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 go. And so it's far more difficult to watch a loved one launch than it is to be in the cockpit yourself.
I'm sure. Okay, who's next? Who wants to go next? All right.
What was your favorite thing about the International Space Station?
You know, there's a couple ways to answer it. One is looking out the window and just watching the Earth go by. It never, ever gets old. There's fun things like floating or a wall of food that you can eat anything you want at any time you want. You know, everything is special when we're doing it with your friends. So I really, really enjoyed sitting around the dinner table in the evenings and talking to an international group of friends who are all up there together.
All right, let's get one of the gentlemen back here. Who wants to talk? Noah wants to talk. All right. Excuse me.
What was one experience that you were not expecting going into your first space mission?
Oh, no. One experience that I was not expecting on my first mission, it would probably be on my first spacewalk. On that mission, I launched on a shuttle, and a couple days into the mission, I was in a spacesuit doing a spacewalk, and you prepare for the technical aspects of a spacewalk, the hands-on things, nuts and bolts and turning and connecting cables. But one thing that I was not expecting was how dark it is when it's on the dark side. You're going around the world every 90 minutes, so 45 minutes you're in the bright sunlight like this, and then 45 minutes you're in the pitch dark side of Earth, and you open that hatch and it's just this black abyss. It really, really was it got my attention in a spooky way.
I'm sure. One more question. All right.
What is the hardest thing about space training?
Oh, the hardest thing about space training is piecing it all together in your head. There's no one thing that we can do training for space that gives you exactly the experience. You have to train a little bit on a computer. You have to train a little bit in a pool. You have to train a little bit in a static mock-up. And so then you couple that with talking to your crewmates who have been there before, and you have to kind of piece together the experience of what you think it will be. But there's no replacing actually doing it. So.
All right. Thanks for those questions, guys. We'll get more questions later on when we go live on air. But, Chris, thank you for answering those questions. And it's almost time. 12:21 is 5 minutes away. And we'll start to see our first parts of the eclipse. Make sure you have your eclipse glasses ready. You can't look directly at it, but we are having some sunshine here across central Texas, and that is good news. So in 5 minutes, the eclipse begins, and we're going to go all through this together. Jarrell Baker was out and about and looking at how this affects central Texas in an artsy way. Let's go to Gerald.
I am Jarrell Baker here reporting in Waco. Now, you can definitely tell that there are several people that are ready to bust out their glasses and also hold celebrations, all to bring in the eclipse. But there's also people here that are creating different drawings, paintings, and several other pieces of art, all to celebrate.
This is the inspiration of that, of a tree with all the little half moons.
Whether it's turning scraps of metal into a creative display or playing music that's simply out of this world, the solar eclipse is inspiring many to create works of art.
I did something a little bit different because I'm a different kind of an artist. I mean, an assemblage.
I can see The Art Center Waco is hosting the Eclipse Shining Shadows exhibit.
So here I've painted a dramatic portrayal of the eclipse over the McLean Stadium.
It features artwork from 37 different Texas artists like David Jacobs and Baylor student Lorena Gonzalez, all influenced by the eclipse.
I'm really grateful for this opportunity as a young artist. Like, there really isn't like much here in Waco, I think. And so I was really excited for that. Instead of having to go out to like Dallas or San Antonio, it makes things simple.
The event is giving many like 18-year-old Ella Ivory a space to showcase and sell her welding creations for the first time.
I like walking around and looking at how everybody else sees it in a different way. It's like kind of like poetry. Of everyone who reads a poem takes it differently. Everyone who looks at an eclipse takes it differently.
The Waco Symphony Orchestra performed several classic songs from Star Wars, Interstellar, and other intergalactic films, bringing music and science together for their sci-fi spectacular.
Hearing it live is so different from hearing it through a screen. So it really makes a huge impact on people. And
if you want to stop by and get a look of all of this artwork here at the Eclipse Shining Shadows exhibit, the Art Center Waco will hold this exhibit open until May 4th. In Waco, I'm Jarrell Baker.
Hey, meteorologist Josh Johns here at Central Texas College in Killeen in your neighborhood. We are tracking the total solar eclipse that's going to be happening as of just a couple minutes ago. We started partiality officially just 50 seconds after 12:18. So that means when I look up, I should be able to see at least a little bit of the solar eclipse. And right now, at least, I'm seeing clouds that are trying to move over it. Still, it's a little visible. There we go. I can see a little corner. We have first contact now here in Killeen. It's going to get covered more and more as we go through the afternoon, eventually with totality happening after 1:30 and before 2. Believe in Killeen is closer to 1:38. So this is going to be incredible. In fact, let me get you the breakdown there real quick. Totality begins at 1:36 officially in Killeen, maximum eclipse at 1:38, and totality ends at 1:40. Remember, you have to wear your glasses to look up until you reach totality, and then you'll be able to see this in all its glory, especially if we can get these clouds out of here. The partial eclipse ends later on by 2:59. So this is going to be such a cool event here in the next few hours that moves right over Killeen and right here at Central Texas College, where you can already see behind me people are starting to filter in. You've got your telescopes, you've got your cameras out, you got folks with a DJ. It is pumping over here at Central Texas College. They even have vendors down on the other quarter, lots of food trucks as well. 25 Storm Wrangler behind us. That may be used in a different fashion later on this afternoon as well, with the potential for thunderstorms. But we keep watching the clouds. We see little clear spots, and we're going to have those moments where the clouds come in and then they clear out at times, and I think we'll be able to see enough within the 4 minutes of totality, even more than 4 minutes, closer to 4 minutes 18 seconds here in Killeen, that we'll be able to see that. Our Heather Healey has more from Lake Waco in another one of our neighborhoods.
It's an educational way to get geared up for the solar eclipse.
This is our goal, and one of our missions is to build STEM awareness, opportunity, and education. And the eclipse is a perfect environment to do that.
The City of Waco and Region 12 Education Service Center put together a unique learning environment Saturday at the Waco Convention Center, circling around the big event and technological advances.
STEM is traditionally that science, technology, engineering, and math. We move it into that solve, think, experience, and make. It's innovative, creative problem solving.
Do this.
Problem-solving NASA is getting in on with all the eclipse excitement.
You know, get them sort of clued into some of the things that we're excited about when it comes to studying the sun, studying how the sun interacts with the Earth, and just talking about the science we do at NASA and how that is a part of what we're seeing in the eclipse here.
With different booths getting the younger generation amped up for what they'll see come Monday.
The solar eclipse is when the moon blocks out the sun from from the light going to Earth.
Because of the darkness in that 4-minute time period,
we made glow-in-the-dark paintings on paper plates.
I'm excited for looking up and seeing it.
Excitement for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right in our area.
I just encourage everyone to take advantage of their total solar eclipse experience. Whatever the weather is, whatever happens, it's all stories, and it's going to be something that you're going to want to remember forever.
Happy solar eclipse! Happy solar eclipse! Happy solar eclipse!
I already told you a little bit of what's happening here in Killeen, and Caleb Chevalier, meteorologist Caleb Chevalier, is in the studio with more on what to expect as this total solar eclipse comes across Central Texas and why it's happening.
Well, over the past several days, we've been talking a lot about solar eclipses, but just how do they work? Well, every so often, the moon is going to come directly in between the sun and the Earth. Now, the sun is 400 times larger than the moon. But the distance of the sun to the Earth is 400 times the distance of the moon to the Earth. So that's why those two objects in the sky look really the same size. And it lines up just well enough to where that moon can just cover up the sun while still allowing us to see the outer atmosphere of the sun during an eclipse. Now, that shadow, called the umbra, is going to be projected down to the surface of the Earth. And in this case, it's going to take just a little less than 2 hours to get across North America. And that pinhole projection, that shadow, well, if you're underneath that, That is totality. Unfortunately, we get to enjoy that right here in Central Texas this time around. We didn't get it in 2017. You might recall the Great American Solar Eclipse of 2017. That started out in Oregon, made its way across the Great Plains and down into South Carolina. But this year, well, it starts in Mexico, moves into Texas, passes over Indiana and Ohio and up through New England. And if you're fortunate enough to live in Carbondale, Illinois, you wouldn't have had to have gone anywhere. These two eclipses would have been in your backyard. That is the point where those two crossed over. But with this particular eclipse, again, it's coming out of Mexico, and that shadow moving across the Earth should arrive at about 1:27 in Eagle Pass and then makes its way up through Texas. And this shadow moving over the Earth at almost 1,200 miles per hour should be over top of Waco, Temple, Killeen at about 1:38. And it's right in the center line of this circle where totality is greatest at over 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And this shadow is something that you'll be able to see from space. We're going to watch that from a satellite perspective and show it to you moving over the course of the Earth as this shadow gets closer to us. And that was fun to film a short time ago. And that shadow that we'd be looking for, we're not going to be able to see it yet from a satellite picture, but the satellite certainly does tell the story as to where the clouds are right now. And I am going to keep an eye on these thicker clouds coming in from the south. Those could hamper some visibility issues a little bit. But for now, actually, let's go ahead and back up a couple here. I want to show you the closer satellite picture. This is what we have going on right this minute. Good clearing taking place in our western and northwestern counties. This continues to look so far to be the best. So Hamilton, Goldthwaite, San Saba, those are pretty much clear right now. You've got partly to mostly cloudy conditions up and down I-35. Some clouds coming in, but there are breaks in those clouds. Hopefully that will remain the case as we get into totality. A nice pocket of clearing skies happening here between Marlin and Franklin. Now, of course, this probably isn't going to hold on for the next hour or so, but these are all going to continue to move up from the south. And again, it's not a completely cloudy scenario. Everywhere you're seeing the cloud cover, there are breaks riddled all throughout here. So that is good news for us. So this is a fluid situation, but right now our visibility viewing for the eclipse looks like this. I think Lampasas, you're looking pretty good. We're going to say still some limited visibility for now in Killeen, Waco, and Hillsboro, but at least it's not completely blocked out. And again, things could shift in your favor over the course of just even minutes, can change how these look. So that's something we'll continue to keep an eye on. So that's what I have from the latest from the studio, and we'll continue to go back and look at those maps as we get closer to the event. But for now, we've got more out from Woodway with Matt.
All right, Caleb. Well, thank you for that, and hopefully the satellite picture will continue to hold. And I got the glasses on. Chris is looking at me like I'm crazy, but we do have the sun coming out from time to time, and it's time to put the eclipse glasses on. The Cookie Monster is taking a bite out of the sun right now, so if you go outside, you'll be able to see that. And in fact, I think the sun's coming out right now. And if you look up, and if you have your glasses on the right-hand side, you can see the moon now starting to take over into the sun. So the moon is now starting. Here in a few minutes, we'll have about 20% obscurity. You really can't see anything with these once you have them on. So at 12:43 is next. We'll have 20% of the sun covered up. And again, that's for Waco. And it'll be a little bit earlier as you go back to the south and southwest. So Lampasas, you're going to see this a little faster. Killeen, you're going to see this a little faster. Temple and Gerald and down to Georgetown. Then as you head farther to the north, your times are going to be a little bit later. And man, the sun just really came out here right now. So again, the kiddos looking up. Let's go see how they're taking this in right now. Glasses on. What do you think so far?
Really cool.
So what has you most excited about seeing totality?
It being like really dark in like the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool. It's going to feel like about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening when we're sitting right here, and we are just over an hour away from that happening. So that's going to be pretty amazing. I want to talk to you about this too, Chris. So your first one, what are you feeling so far?
Well, the same.
Yeah, you have the microphone.
I got the microphone. Yeah. The same excitement that the kids are. I'm right there with you. This is, you know, I didn't really know what to expect, having never seen one before, and you get a little glimpse right now, or like you said, 15, 20%, and how amazing it's going to be at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever the exact time is, where we have 9 o'clock at night.
And it's feeling kind of hot right now, isn't it? Yeah. All right. At 12:51, the temperature is going to start dropping because we are getting more of the moon covering up the sun, and that is going to allow for the temperatures to slowly start to drop. And by the time we reach totality, from where we are right now to totality, it could drop 5 to 10 degrees. So it'll be a noticeable difference around here. And some of these cumulus clouds, you see these puffy clouds up in the sky right here? Well, those are based off heat. And once we start losing some of the heat from the sun, they actually may start to collapse a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to watch the clouds. Wildlife, I don't think we have our dog out here, but deer, birds are going to start coming in, and they're going to start coming to the trees and everything. It's going to be a really cool sight going on right now. So again, if you look up, make sure you have your glasses on. And do we have any more questions for Chris real quick? All right.
What are some simple tasks that are harder to do in space?
Oh, great question. Simple tasks that are hard to do in space is dealing with small things. It's, believe it or not, it's easy to move around a heavy piece of metal like the size of a refrigerator, just kind of get it going and let the momentum take it. But a bag of M&Ms or trying to eat rice or potato chip bag, it's just complete disaster. Hard to get a hold of, keep a track of all those little small light things.
And I've seen this in videos. Like you can take a water droplet and just kind of hold in front of you. You can just kind of like reach out and swallow it.
And it doesn't matter how old an astronaut is. You turn into a kid when you get that water ball in front of you, and you can stick different colored fluid like coffee or red fruit punch in it and watch the mixture. It's really fun to play with fluids, and then especially when the cleanup is simply as
nice.
Yep.
How long was your longest mission up there? How long were you on the ISS?
Total about a year of my life. A shuttle was a 2-week mission, and then each of the subsequent missions were 6 months each, so about a year total.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what does it feel like? I know your wife Peggy's here. What does it feel like family-wise with that?
Well, NASA does a really amazing job of keeping us connected. We have a phone where we can make calls. It's the best deal ever. Okay. When you're on the other side, they can't call you. She
didn't hear that. She didn't hear that.
And no, but all seriousness, of course we have email, but then once a week we have a video conference with our family. So you are connected in terms of communication, but you still miss home. You miss each other. You miss your family. And
were you up there at Christmas?
I was never up at Christmas. All my missions were over the spring, summer, and fall.
All right. So. But missing any holiday, does that kind of give you a feeling, or is it cool to be up there?
You know, you miss smells a lot for me anyways. Like in the summertime, the yards are mowed and you smell that fresh cut grass, or I grew up on a coastal town in Maine, and that smell of ocean is just, you don't have those unique smells, and they are what you identify Earth with. You know, Thanksgiving, cooking in the oven, that sort of thing. So you miss
Was that you, Zach, that just asked that question? Yeah, Zach asked the question, what does space smell like?
Well, the space station itself is pretty nothing to it smell, other than there are certain areas where we keep trash, or the bathroom, of course, has some odors to it. But what I think you're getting at is right at the moment of bringing spacewalkers back inside from the airlock, there's a tiny little fragment of time where you smell, in my mind, it smells like rust or oxidized metal a little bit. But the air conditioning quickly picks up all of the air and circulates it, so it doesn't last long.
Wow. And that's another thing I want to say here. You heard me mention Zach, and I want to turn the camera over here. We have a lot of production people. We have Angel behind the camera. He can't turn it on himself, but we have production people here. Shelby, Zach, Michael, thank you. Ryan, thank you for that. And we have a lot of production across Central Texas as well. We have Bailey back in the studio, and I wish I could name everybody, but again, thank them as well for putting on this broadcast. And we are still going. What time is it now? It 34. Is 34 after. So again, at 12:43, we should have 20% of the sun become obscured. Then the temperature changes we'll start to have at 12:51. And then your shadows are going to become interesting. See how it's kind of blurry right there? Well, when we get to get closer to totality, your shadows are really going to get sharp, and you're going to really start to notice the light changing. So again, that's here in about 20 to 30 minutes. So that's going to be amazing. Of course, we do have meteorologist Josh Johns. He's a little ahead of us by about a minute there in Bell County. Josh, what does it look like?
Hey, Matt, we're seeing times of suns and clouds kind of moving through here at times. More folks starting to filter on in here at the eclipse over Central Texas at Central Texas College. And you can see everyone with their glasses on, their phones out, their telescopes, their better cameras than a phone camera. I've been trying to take a picture with my phone and struggling a bit, trying to shoot through the glasses. But as I look up, we're starting to see, probably getting close to 20% covered here, Matt. I can see a pretty substantial chunk out of the sun now. And it kind of looks like a smoky haze is over it when you look through the eclipse glasses, and that's because of that high to mid-level cloud cover that's sitting there at times kind of blocking me. So hopefully that continues to clear up. I am noticing, though, when the sun comes out, it's not as bright as it was, say, earlier today, and I know that's just going to continue to happen as we move closer and closer to totality, which will start a little bit sooner here than it will where you are in Waco Woodway area, but we at least have seen some really cool clear skies compared to what I thought we'd see. So I'm happy to see that the clouds are a little less than that. But did you know that at Central Texas College, there's actually an astronomer, leads the planetarium shows? I got a chance to catch up with him and ask him about the eclipse and about his job here at CTC. While some have known about the eclipse for just a few months, it's nothing new to this Central Texas College employee.
The only thing you would see would be around the edge of the sun will be the corona of the sun, and that's what the physicists and the astronomers like to study, because that's pretty well the only time they get the opportunity to get the sun out of the way, if you will, and they can see the corona.
If you were to walk outside and look at the night sky, or walk in here to the Mayborn Planetarium at Central Texas College, you might see some stars above you. And to some, they're just stars. But those stars, they tell a story. And this is the story that Warren Hart has been telling for the last 18 years.
Mighty hunter, and down at his feet.
Warren is the astronomer at the Mayborn Planetarium on campus, and as the sun sets on his career, this eclipse is the last story he'll tell.
When I knew that this was coming, my wife and I decided that the end of April would be an adequate time to go ahead and say thank you and then go to do something else.
It was a decision to serve our country in the Air Force that actually sparked his interest.
A true mammoth of the sky, largest and fastest jet bomber in the world, is the B-52 Stratofortress.
I started out with the B-52, and I was the navigator downstairs. There's 2 levels, and so I would take a time that on where we were flying when we're out over the ocean, and I would figure up a time to get information from looking at 3 different stars, and from that to compute where we are.
Another attempt at service led him to Central Texas College.
They said, well, you can't come and volunteer, we're sorry. And I said, okay, well, I tried. They said, no, we have to pay you. Oh, okay.
One thing that Warren and many other astronomers are excited to see during this eclipse is the phenomenon known as Bailey's beads.
And around on the trailing edge of the moon, you will see still some little flickering points right on the edge there of the sun. And those are named Bailey's beads.
This eclipse will no doubt spark the interest of young astronomers, and Warren has done his part to inspire the next generation.
Pick out a constellation that you are familiar with and see if you can find it, and then enjoy that, and then begin to do a little more searching and get some information. Just enjoy the sky.
If you're interested in checking out one of the planetarium shows that they hold here at the Mayborn Planetarium and Science Center, you can head over to starsatnight.org, where Central Texas College has a listing of the shows and ways to purchase tickets. And we continue to track the eclipse here at Central Texas College in your neighborhood in Killeen. Again, we're watching these partly cloudy skies that keep pivoting on through. Even more people filtering on in. They know this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness this. And totality, again, officially in Killeen, will begin at around, well, it disappeared on me, but there it is. We'll begin at around 1:36. With the maximum eclipse at 1:38, and then totality ending in Killeen at 1:40. So from that time frame, 1:36 to 1:40, we'll be able to take our glasses off, look up at the sky. We'll probably see some stars, some planets. It'll be a really, really neat event happening across Central Texas, and we've got you covered. Another way we've got you covered is with our own meteorologist, Caleb Chevalier. Caleb, what's going on there?
Well, Josh, you know, we were saying earlier about how we could actually trace the shadow moving across the surface of the Earth. I'm actually want to keep this picture just for a moment. I'm going to mess with the satellite picture just for a bit because we're starting to get that data that can show you just a little bit of how things are darkening across the Pacific Ocean out here to the west of Mexico. And of course, Mexico gets the eclipse before we do. Look at the past hour, and it's right in here. All of a sudden, everything's getting a little darker. Well, that's where the shadow is of the moon, and that's going to be moving up towards Monterrey and into areas that are going to be in the mountainous terrain of Mexico. And as that happens, well, that's where the shadow will be first, and then we get to get it here. Speaking of which, I want to jump right back to our local satellite picture. This is what we're going to be staring at quite a bit as we head toward totality. And again, we're in the partial phase right now, with the moon taking a small bite out of the sun, but you'll need eclipse glasses to see those. Make sure you have the proper eyewear. Clear skies continue from Gatesville west. These areas still look pretty good, and for the rest of us, cloud cover is still in the mix. There are some breaks here and there. That continues to be the case near Groesbeck. Again, anywhere you're seeing these blacker shades, that's actually looking through the cloud cover. So we do have clouds dotting the area up and down I-35. Fortunately, it's not a complete blanket of clouds. These are looking to at least play nicely for a little while. So the motion of the clouds still suggests some thicker stuff could be advancing in from the south. We're going to keep a close eye on that because maybe that could start to envelop the sky a little bit more. Also seeing some thunderstorm activity already along I-10. That's getting developed a little earlier than what we were thinking. We'll keep an eye on that because those could grow upscale into some severe potential later on this afternoon. But we'll continue to check back with these satellite pictures as we go throughout the afternoon, and we're getting all that much closer to totality time with it being about 12:42. So for Waco, Temple, Killeen, we're less than an hour now, and you can see that ticker right there. We are counting down the minutes at this point. So Matt, I'm sure things are certainly heating up where you are. Maybe the air's getting a little cooler though, because that shadow is going to be starting to...
Caleb, taking a look up right now, about 20% of the sun is now taken away from the moon. If you have your glasses, you got to have your glasses on. But if you are using your glasses, you can look up, and when the sun comes from behind a cloud, 20% of the sun is now being covered up by the moon, and you can see clearly that we are really getting closer and closer and coming up here. So 1243 is, well, 1251 temperature change. So we're going to start to feel it getting a little bit cooler around here, and that's going to be really cool. We have people all over Central Texas as well. Let's head out to Coryell County, and we have Madison out there. Madison, what do you have?
I am from Amarillo, Texas.
Missoula, Montana.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
From San Diego.
Downtown Gatesville. Your typical small Texas town, but when the solar eclipse is hours away, it's bringing large crowds to the little community.
I'm most looking forward to seeing the solar eclipse for the first time with my sister and my parents.
I teach 5th grade science in Amarillo, and I'm really interested in seeing it go completely dark and documenting it for my students.
Obviously, the eclipse, but we're turning it into a vacation, you know, in case we get clouded out.
Visitors share with me why Gatesville is their ideal destination.
And we looked at all the towns on the path of totality. We picked Gatesville so we could come camping and because we could join in the festival too.
And we just like the small town feel. So I got on Google Maps and looked at the route of where it was going to go, and Gatesville looked like a little town.
After more than a year of planning, organizers tell me they're happy to see some unfamiliar faces.
So to have an event like this that brings people who normally would not have found us is really special, and we're having a great time, aren't we, girls? Having a great time.
You know, but it's such a small town with a lot of charm here, and we're just hoping that they are feeling that warm welcome, that big Texas welcome that we have to give.
All right, it is 12:45, and we continue to see the moon just take a bite out of the sun. If you have your eclipse glasses, you can look up now, and once it comes out from behind a cloud, like what we have right now, oh man, starting to look pretty cool, folks. Looks like Pac-Man. And we're going to continue to see this as it progresses. You're going to see that moon move from right to left, and then eventually it's going to start shifting more up as well. So that's going to be a cool little effect here we'll have here over the next hour. So we're less than an hour out from totality. Less than an hour out from totality. Chris, how do you feel?
I'm excited.
I'm pumped, man.
Yeah. I can't wait for that temperature change.
Yeah, that's gonna feel pretty good.
Amazing.
That's what, according to time and date and NASA and everything like that, 12:51 is when you should start noticing that. Sharp and blurry shadows at 12:58 should start to become. I'll just read this rundown right here, so we can go through and what you're going to expect here over the next hour. So again, temperature change at around 12:51. Again, if you're farther south, you'll feel that first. Farther north. Again, you can subtract about a minute or so from Waco. I'm giving you Waco times here. Blurry shadows start to become a little more sharp at about 12:58, 1 o'clock, so at the top of the hour. The brightness of the sky, you'll start to really notice the difference by about 1:06. Temperature and humidity and wind conditions will continue to change as we head toward 1:15. At 1:22, light levels and your colors will start to look a little odd to you. And then by 1:30, nature should start reacting. Birds should start to nest. We may see deer that start to come out, and your dog or cat may be like, hey, it's time for bed. Looks like dark shadow on the horizon about 1:33, so that will be right behind us, and that's one of the reasons we picked this location right here. We'll be able to see that dark shadow on the horizon coming up from Mexico and coming through southwest Texas. And then the corona will start to appear by 1:37, and we start to get into the diamond ring and Bailey's beads. The diamond ring is right before totality. That's happening at 1:38, and right before that, it's a spectacular sight from what I'm told. It looks like a ring with a big diamond, and that will be located on the upper left portion of the sun as the moon continues to make its way across. And then literally seconds later, we will be in totality, and over 4 minutes in totality. The 2017 eclipse, it was about, a minute 30, 2 minutes for the best view. We get over 4 minutes. The one coming up in 2045 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they got over 5 minutes. So it's pretty amazing how this works, and it's all based on how far the moon is away from the Earth. So the farther the moon is away, what happened in October when you were down in South Texas, in San Antonio, when that was farther away, well, you didn't get the entire disk of the sun covered up. Now the moon's a little bit closer. Why does that happen? Well, we think of pass as a circle, but it's not. The moon goes around in an elliptical form, more of an oval shape than a circle shape. That's why the moon can be a little bit farther or a little bit closer to us and allow for that. So that's why with this particular eclipse, we're a little bit closer on that ellipse, and that allows us to have more totality here. Again, less than an hour away from that. So that's going to be pretty amazing. So Chris, have you looked up?
I have looked up, and I'm dying to turn around. But one thing you and I were talking about during the break was, for me, it's amazing how fast all these bodies are moving around in the universe. But for us, from this perspective, it's this very slow-moving phenomena. Just like I was telling you, watching a rendezvous, for example, of two spacecrafts. Both are moving at 5 miles a second, but the relative speed difference between the two is very small and controlled.
And that's good. You want to be very controlled in space. All right, so let's take a look at a live shot from NASA in Mexico, where the shadow is starting across Mexico. And again, the shadow of the Earth is starting off at about 1,200 miles per hour across. By the time it gets Texas farther to the northeast, 1,500 miles per hour is the way the shadow is going to be traveling across the ground. So think of when you see a plane shadow sometimes before landing and how fast that is. Imagine it's the size of the moon that's going to be allowing us to see that totality and still moving at about 1,500 miles per hour. So pretty amazing with that. So again, do we have that shot up from NASA? Huh? All right, so there's a little bug down there. Okay, there on the left-hand corner of the screen. I see it now. So once again, almost to totality there on the west coast of Mexico, and that's going to continue to work its way up our way. And again, when you're moving over 1,000 miles per hour, it gets to Texas pretty quick. So just off the west coast of Mexico, this will be west of Mexico City. They're about to enter totality there. Then that will continue to move across. And our time right now, well, if I get that out of here, is 12:50. So again, 12:51. Here in the next minute or so, this is going to start the temperature drop. I can already look over here at the clouds. Look over here, students. You can see this. You can already see that the light is starting to change within the clouds. If you take your glasses off real quick, look at the clouds. You can already see that there's a little bit of a shadow. The sky doesn't quite look as normal. So that's what you're going to start noticing more and more as the shadows take over. And I know it's getting even better down in Bell County right now with meteorologist Josh Johns. Josh, take it away.
Yeah, Matt, I'm trying not to dance here at this solar eclipse party that's happening at Eclipse over Central Texas here at Central Texas College. Matt, we're still fighting the partly cloudy skies, but I look up with my solar eclipse glasses, and the clouds are in the way. Briefly, there it comes. We're probably about 30% covered here now. So we will start to see those changes happen more and more as we head closer and closer to totality, which again occurs close to 136 is when it starts here in Bell County. So we are excited. You can see everyone that's starting to filter in now. They've got their cameras, they've got their eclipse glasses, they've got their telescopes. I see someone with a telescope here. And everyone just ready to enjoy this once-in-a-lifetime event here in Central Texas. Caleb mentioned you can already see the shadow coming across Mexico on the satellite imagery. This is going to be uniquely cool when it comes across. And again, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to experience this. I'm glad that I'm here able to see it. And remember, the times, they're a little different in Killeen than they are where Matt is in Waco and in Woodway. Officially, the partial eclipse began at 12:18. Totality begins at 1:36 in Killeen, maximum 1:38, and totality ends at 1:40. Going to be a cool 4 minutes when it happens. We'll be tracking it for you still here in Killeen.
So what we've got here is the satellite picture from the latest regional view. We're going to take a closer look as we zoom down in here in a moment, but the regional view is going to tell you a few things. We do have those clouds coming up from the south that are looking a little thicker. Look what happened in the past couple frames, though. Just take a moment to watch that loop for a little bit, and everything suddenly got a little dimmer. Did you see that on those last few frames? So we're getting the partial eclipse shadow now over top of our own satellite picture. So everything from this vantage point is getting a little darker, and that moon continues to take a bite out of the sun. So there's that view. And I want to run back to something a little more local. Let's check out the, again, just the static view right here close to home. This is Central Texas in the Brazos Valley, and we are continuing just to scope out how things change, and this is minute by minute, but clear conditions still look pretty good from west to Gatesville. So Hamilton, Goldthwaite, San Saba, I think you guys have 100% visibility right now. Hopefully it stays that way. The clouds that you're seeing across the area are broken clouds. These all have little bits of gaps in them, and yeah, they might cover up the sun for a bit, but everything's moving, and hopefully some of those gaps will move over the sun from time to time, and hopefully that all occurs right around 1:38 when our most populated areas are going to experience that eclipse. But we are also going to continue to watch some of this activity down to the south as maybe some thicker cloud cover continues to come in from the south. And lastly, I do want to just take a slightly wider view to mention again that we're already indicating some thunderstorm activity getting going a little early down here by I-10. This has some lightning in it. That's all it is right now. It is moving to the north, though, so that could be impacting Brazos County here a little bit if it holds together. And we will continue to monitor not only that, but the clouds and the thunderstorm activity as those continue to perhaps unfold over the next little bit. It'll certainly unfold this afternoon and evening, and we'll have more on that, of course, once we get beyond our eclipse forecast and our eclipse coverage. For now, of course, there's way more to talk about from Woodway. Let's go back to Matt.
All right, Caleb, a great explanation there. And with that visible satellite, that is so cool to see that shadow coming in across the Rio Grande right now and into the Lone Star State. And Chris, we just talked about it. 12:51, we're going to start to notice the temperature change. And you're like, yeah, right. It really isn't as intense.
We can tell right now,
Yeah.
and we're looking down at our shadows, and we
let's
see
look at our shadows real quick.
It's super crisp all around us.
I mean,
yeah,
it's not blurry. It's very crisp now once the sun comes out. You can see the shadow of the microphone and everything like that. So yeah, and you can definitely tell that the sky is starting to darken. And look at the cumulus clouds. They're not as big as what they were. They are starting to come down. So we are losing the convective temperature. So some of these cumulus clouds are coming down. So my papers just went everywhere. So I'm going to do that. Chris, talk to the kids real quick.
So who's got the next question? Who hasn't asked one yet? Go ahead.
Did you dream of being an astronaut when you were a kid?
Oh, when I didn't. When I was a kid, I was thinking about sports pretty much all the time. And it wasn't until I became a member of the Navy and met an astronaut myself that the idea dawned on me, like, oh, well, my background's similar to his. Maybe I could try that too. So I was dreaming about being an NBA basketball player, but that didn't work out for me. Yeah. Yeah.
What does re-entry to Earth feel like?
Oh, re-entry to Earth is you're all excited because you're happy that it's time to come home. There's a lot of training that goes in, and you haven't done that training for 6 months because you're up on the space station, and the last time you trained on re-entry was before you left Earth. So you have to remember how to do all your procedures again, and then once you get in that capsule and the G-forces start to pick back up, and the whole thing is tumbling. You know, it's pretty intense, but by the time you land on the ground and it's over, you know, you made it, and you're back on Earth, which is home.
All right, so we're getting closer and closer to 1 o'clock. What we're going to do is take a little brief break so we can get a little rest right here. Clouds are slowly starting to dissipate. Folks, I think we're going to see this thing. So this is going to be really fun. At the top of the hour, we're going to join our on-air folks. That's on 25 and 15 in the Brazos Valley. So we're going to take you to some sky cams real quick. We'll join you at 1 o'clock.
You can
Oh, I am very excited because it'll be once in a lifetime for me.
The way the light shines through the trees, you're able to see like the crescent shape and the shadows of like leaves.
There's not going to be another one in Texas until at least 2040.
The only time they get the opportunity to get the sun out of the way, if you will, and they can see the corona.
Oh boy, we are just 30 minutes away, just over 30 minutes away from totality here in Central Texas. And you can already tell the sky is definitely darkening. Things are really starting to take shape here, and it looks like that at least some of us are going to have partly cloudy skies to see this thing, and that's always a good thing as well. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Hines. Welcome to our on-air people on 25 and 15 down in the Brazos Valley. Thank you for joining us for this Eclipse special. We are still online as well, and the man next to me, his name is Kxxv, and he's a really smart guy. He's been on the space station as the commander. He has been an astronaut, obviously. He has been to MIT. He's been to the Naval Academy. He's been a Navy SEAL. He is a stud, as we will say that. But one thing that this man hasn't seen is a total solar eclipse. And we're almost there.
I'm so excited to share that experience with you
Yeah.
and on air and with the kids here. This is really cool.
This is going to be really fun. So, of course, you are up now in Arlington. So, are you still a part of the space program, or are you officially?
No, I'm retired from the government, retired from NASA, and full-time with the Medal of Honor Museum.
Yeah, so the Medal of Honor Museum, I had a chance to go up there and visit with Chris about a year and a half ago. And since he came down and he's being so generous to us, we wanted to give back to this and show you that package real quick of what we had a year and a half ago. And again, this thing is going to be done in about a year, and it's going to be spectacular in Arlington. Let's go to that.
Where did we find such men? We find them where we've always found them. In our villages and towns, on our city streets, in our shops and on our farms.
Their actions were clearly above and beyond the call of duty.
Their love of country and devotion to each other was always clear.
Where there is a brave man in the thickest of the fight, there is the post of honor.
For over 160 years, it symbolized America's bravest, the Congressional Medal of Honor. In a country of more than 330 million people, there are only 63 Americans living with this highest honor. Our nation's elite heroes now have a home to recognize their sacrifice. A new home right here in Texas.
You want people to be inspired in some way. So a connection with some future person that's going to serve in the military, some future military service member.
The man leading the effort is no stranger to exceptionalism. Kxxv, the museum's president and CEO, served for nearly 3 decades in the Navy, including 11 years as a Navy SEAL.
Houston, Endeavor, roll program. Roger, roll, Endeavor.
The Navy SEAL program stands for Sea, Air, and Land, but for Cassidy, that wasn't enough. The special warfare operator took his next mission into outer space.
In both cases, it's a small group of people trying to accomplish a risky mission together and do it safely and effectively with the support of a whole bunch of people.
Back on Earth, Cassidy says his new mission is to build the museum by March of 2025. With the museum holding this right here, with the turmoil of our country right now, you think this is a unifying thing?
Oh, no doubt. It doesn't matter what state, what political lean you have. Your connection to the Medal of Honor and the people and the stories is instant, and it goes deeper and beyond any part of political divides.
Located just feet away from where the Dallas Cowboys and Texas Rangers play, the museum will be in the path for thousands to walk through its halls each year.
That is the center of the National Medal of Honor Museum in the future home. Medal of Honor Day is March 25th, and that was our groundbreaking ceremony, both in a ceremonial way, and then the very next day we started what you see here. Our website, mohmuseum.org, you can go there, learn more about the project. If you're interested in supporting, you can click Donate Now. In fact, every dollar helps, and don't go to Starbucks tomorrow and give us the $6.95. We'll take it.
Finally, a place for our nation's bravest heroes to call home, right here in the heart of Texas. All right, I do have Chris Cassidy with me right here, and that was the National Medal of Honor Museum being built up in Arlington, which if you've gone to a Cowboy game or a Ranger game, you've seen that being built right around there. So a really cool project, but look at this. Look at the patches and what Chris has on here of his space missions. He has his patch for Navy SEALs. Just amazing that you've been up there, but you've never seen this.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier. It's so cool to think about how fast these celestial bodies are moving, but to us it just seems like this slow-moving process as the totality comes towards us.
It is amazing. And the temperature change.
Noticeable, right?
I mean, you had to put a coat on.
I got chilly.
We are definitely feeling a little bit of a chill, and the wind's picking up a little bit, and it's a much cooler wind as well. So it is a very noticeable change. And we have some special guests along with us as well, Chris. We've been talking to them online for a while now, and these are some middle schoolers here from Midway ISD, River Valley, 6th graders. Hello to y'all. Are y'all excited? Yes. This is pretty cool. Yes. It's going to be dark here in about 30 minutes. In the middle of the day. Now that's really cool. Now I know we have some questions for Chris. Does anyone want to ask one? Reed.
My favorite thing to eat was pretty much anything, but I always sort of gravitated towards the seafood gumbo. It's amazing. It's
really?
Yep. You'd think that we have yucky food, but we have a wide selection of things, and seafood gumbo always seemed to hit the spot.
I went to space camp. I can't compete with this, but I did get to eat some astronaut food, and it is quite interesting to do that. If y'all ever have a chance to go to space camp, if you're interested in that, it's a really cool experience to do that. And how many of y'all are interested in STEM or anything like that? Yeah. Addison and some of the boys here, girls, somewhat. McKinley, do you have a question?
What would a solar eclipse look like in space?
What would a solar eclipse look like in space? So depending on where the space station was and where, if you were lucky enough to watch that shadow that we're going to see coming from this direction, which is marching over Mexico right now, or maybe entering the United States very soon, you would see that sort of dark disk progressing at, what, 1,500 miles an hour from Mexico up to Cleveland and beyond. So you could definitely see it when you look down. We're moving fast too, though, so you wouldn't have the whole path, but yeah.
Yeah, so cool. So let's take a seat once again. I know we're talking about that darkness, and I can definitely tell that the sky is changing here. And with that, let's go to meteorologist Caleb Chevalier. He's going to have the latest look at the satellite picture, and I'm sure the shadow is now coming into Texas, Caleb.
Well, over the past several days, we've been talking a lot about solar eclipses, but just how do they work? Well, every so often the moon is going to come directly in between the sun and the earth. Now, the sun is 400 times larger than the moon, but the distance of the sun to the earth is 400 times the distance of the moon to the earth. So that's why those two objects in the sky look really the same size, and it lines up just well enough to where that moon can just cover up the sun while still allowing us to see the outer atmosphere of the sun during an eclipse. Now, that shadow, called the umbra, is going to be projected down to the surface of the earth, and in this case, it's going to take just a little less than 2 hours to get across North America, and that pinhole projection, that shadow, well, if you're underneath that, that is totality. Unfortunately, we get to enjoy that right here in Central Texas this time around. We didn't get it in 2017. You might recall the Great American Solar Eclipse of 2017. That started out in Oregon, made its way across the Great Plains and down into South Carolina. But this year, well, it starts in Mexico, moves into Texas, passes over Indiana and Ohio and up through New England. And if you're fortunate enough to live in Carbondale, Illinois, you wouldn't have had to have gone anywhere. These two eclipses would have been in your backyard. That is the point where those two crossed over. But with this particular eclipse, again, it's coming out of Mexico, and that shadow moving across the earth should arrive at about 1:27 in Eagle Pass and then makes its way up through Texas. And this shadow moving over the earth at almost 1,200 miles per hour should be over top of Waco, Temple, Killeen at about 1:38. And it's right in the center line of this circle where totality is greatest at over 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And this shadow is something that you'll be able to see from space. We're going to watch that from a satellite perspective and show it to you moving over the course of the Earth as this shadow gets closer to us. And you know what? We can already see that shadow from satellite. Things are getting a little bit dimmer from a space perspective. We've got a wide variety of Syntex Roof Systems cameras as well to keep an eye on the sky. There's a lot more on our coverage yet to come.
Welcome back to the Great Texas Eclipse. Meteorologist Josh Johns here at Central Texas College, where we've got the party going on. You can see me. You can also see on the other side of the screen our sky cam looking directly at the partial eclipse is ongoing, approaching totality. We're past 50%. You can tell already it's darkened a little bit here at Central Texas College. Now the sun's come out. I can look again. Oh, yeah. Looks like a crescent now. Very similar to a crescent moon if you're looking through your glasses. Central Texas College, a big part of education here in Central Texas, and believe it or not, they have their own astronomer here on campus leading the planetary shows. He's enjoying the day. I got a chance to catch up with him before the eclipse. Here's what he had to say about his job and just how special this day is going to be. While some have known about the eclipse for just a few months, it's nothing new to this Central Texas College employee.
The only thing you would see would be around the edge of the sun will be the corona of the sun, and that's what the physicists and the astronomers like to study, because that's pretty well the only time they get the opportunity to get the sun out of the way, if you will, and they can see the corona.
If you were to walk outside and look at the night sky, or walk in here to the Mayborn Planetarium at Central Texas College, you might see some stars above you. And to some, they're just stars. But those stars, they tell a story. And this is the story that Warren Hart has been telling for the last 18 years.
Mighty hunter, And down at his feet.
Warren is the astronomer at the Mayborn Planetarium on campus, and as the sun sets on his career, this eclipse is the last story he'll tell.
When I knew that this was coming, I decided, my wife and I decided that the end of April would be an adequate time to go ahead and say thank you and then go to do something else.
It was a decision to serve our country in the Air Force that actually sparked his interest.
A true mammoth of the sky, largest and fastest jet bomber in the world, is the B-52 Stratofortress.
I started out with the B-52, and I was the navigator downstairs. There's 2 levels. And so I would take a time that on where we were flying when we're out over the ocean. And I would figure up a time to get information from looking at 3 different stars, and from that to compute where we are.
Another attempt at service led him to Central Texas College.
So they said, well, you can't come and volunteer, we're sorry. And I said, okay, well, I tried. They said, no, we have to pay you. Oh, okay.
One thing that Warren and many other astronomers are excited to see during this eclipse is the phenomenon known as Bailey's beads.
And around on the trailing edge of the moon, you will see still some little flickering points right on the edge there of the sun. And those are named Bailey's beads.
This eclipse will no doubt spark the interest of young astronomers, and Warren has done his part to inspire the next generation.
Pick out a constellation that you are familiar with and see if you can find it, and then enjoy that, and then begin to do a little more searching and get some information. Just enjoy the sky.
If you're interested in checking out one of the planetarium shows that they hold here at the Mayborn Planetarium and Science Center, you can head over to starsatnight.org, where Central Texas College has a listing of the shows and ways to purchase tickets. And you can see how dark it is right now here at Central Texas College. Still a party going on, still people out here observing the phenomenon. I look up with my eclipse glasses and there is a cloud in the way right now, but it was looking like a crescent. That means we're getting closer and closer to totality happening here at 1:36. Until then, you have to wear your glasses. And our Heather Healey has more on how to safely look at the solar eclipse through these eclipse glasses.
A lot of us are gearing up to watch the solar eclipse in your neighborhood. It's very rare and exciting, but it could be dangerous if not viewing it properly. That's why it's important to get yourself a pair of these. Always take a look at your eclipse glasses before you use them. If they're scratched or damaged, then throw them away. When it starts happening, stand still and cover your eyes with your glasses before looking at the sun. After you stop watching, look away and take your glasses off. Don't take them off while you're still looking at the sun. Now also, the American Astronomical Society is warning all of us about fake eclipse glasses. You can tell if they're real if they have the label ISO 12312-2 on the side. If you're a parent and the kids want to watch, make sure they're using the glasses properly. Remember, it's not safe to look at the eclipse with your phone screen camera or telescope unless it has a filter on it. The rays can really damage your screen and can really hurt your eyes, so always remember to have these on.
And you're taking a live look now at our Syntex roof system camera network there as it's tracking the eclipse here across Central Texas. You can see a little bit of darkening, of course.
For many of us in Central Texas, the eclipse is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm Epiphany Lachey, your neighborhood reporter in Copper's Cove. But you might be wondering, how can you capture the eclipse in your community on your camera or iPhone? Just like your eyes, you want to protect your camera equipment when capturing the total solar eclipse. For phones, you can actually use an extra pair of eclipse glasses. Either tape or hold the lens over your phone camera lenses. For cameras, you need a special lens filter. If you try to take an eclipse picture without protecting your gear, odds are you'll break your phone or camera. The eclipse begins with a small notch slowly appearing along one edge of the sun. As time passes, the moon will cover more and more. As the crescent of the sun shrinks, the moon's shadow will appear. And your own backyard might offer the perfect opportunity to capture and remember this special event. Reporting in Copper's Cove, I'm Epiphany Lachey.
Well, here's a visual for you. Check out the giant black shadow moving across Mexico at this point. I've turned on a purely black and white satellite perspective to really enhance that contrast. And this is the partial eclipse. And of course, right in the middle of that would be the total eclipse shadow, but that would be just as black, so you can't really see it. But right in the middle of that would be that pinhole shadow where totality is, which does happen to run right through central Texas. We're starting to see the shadow of that already locally, so things are getting dimmer outside. If you were to look up at the sun with those eclipse glasses, you would see the moon really covering a lot of it at this stage. And in terms of how it looks right now for our visibility, again, this is subject to change, but still looks to be a go for Lampasas and Goldthwaite, Hamilton. Skies are fairly clear out there. Things, again, could change a little bit as clouds continue to come and go, but for now it looks all right. Colleen, you've got some limited visibility, but there are some breaks out there. It's kind of touch and go. The same thing for Waco and Hillsboro. We'll continue to keep a very close eye on that as we go through the next little while. Now, as we go from eclipse mode to severe weather mode, that'll happen this afternoon, and I do want to briefly touch on that while we've got about another minute or so. We are expecting some thunderstorms to be getting going here soon. In fact, some of those are already developing down by Interstate 10. Now, are those going to be the ones that eventually become severe? Maybe not, but either way, down in the Brazos Valley by mid-afternoon, some thunderstorm development is expected. That should work up to the north, and really this is mainly involving our counties along and east of I-35. There could be some action west of 35 as well. But mid-afternoon and late afternoon, these storms right here could be severe, and they would be capable of producing hazards of, again, some damaging winds, some hail, maybe large hail, and a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out either. We get out of that and into a wet stage for Tuesday morning as showers return before dawn, and we could see the onset of heavy rain for some of us as we go into Tuesday morning, and some of that could involve some strong to maybe severe weather as well. So it does look like there's more to talk about with the weather as we get through the eclipse, so make sure we don't lose sight of that. But we're going to jump right back to our eclipse coverage here in just a little bit. But first, we've got some few messages.
Mic level 123, 123.
Welcome back to our special coverage of the solar eclipse. We are 15 minutes away from totality. The excitement is building. Of course, it'll be a little earlier the farther south you are, a little later the farther north you are. The light is changing. I have astronaut Kxxv with me, and it's starting to get pretty cool out here.
Literally, quite literally
Yeah.
cool. We've noticed a handful of degrees. We can see our shadows really nice and crisply, and the wind kind of changed. It's really neat to see this phenomenon.
It actually feels really good out here.
It feels good.
We need this on a summer day here in Texas every day. But yes, it's definitely almost time here in Central Texas. We've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, and the time is here. And now that the time is here, we're not taking any more breaks. We're going straight through 150 as this continues here across the area. So you'll get it in Bell County first, then it'll move up into McLennan County, and then it will continue to make its way off to the northeast from there. But looking up right now, wow. It's a crescent sun. If you're outside and you're looking it up, turn up the volume on your TV and go outside and look at that with your glasses. We have a crescent sun right now, and it's just a really cool experience. You see a crescent moon all the time, but you rarely see a crescent sun, and that is a really cool experience right there. So from a space perspective with this, Chris, on a scale of 1 to 10, how cool is this?
Oh, this is a 10 plus, you know, and I wish I could be talking to my former colleagues who are on the space station right now to see, hey, where are you guys? What are you seeing? Report to us live as we're here reporting to them live. You know,
they can see the shadow probably going
They
across.
can see the shadow processing across, and depending on the angle of where the space station is at that time, you'd see it march right up the U.S.
Yes, and now the shadow, we saw with Caleb a little bit earlier, the shadow moving across Mexico and into Texas. The clouds are actually dissipating a little bit. I think we're going to see totality right here at my location, and I know a lot of people are wanting to see this, wanting to get pictures with their family, wanting to remember this. And again, it is now about 1:27, so 1:27. Light levels and colors definitely are changing around here. The colors looking a little bit different, not quite as bright, not quite as vibrant. Here at 1:30, nature should start reacting. So we are minutes away, and you may want to start watching nature. If you're at the zoo, if you know someone there, if you have pets, if you have just birds that naturally are in trees next to your house, start watching. We got some birds right here starting to come down. Speaking of that, and it'll be very interesting to watch nature here over the next 30 minutes. The dark shadow on the horizon is going to appear for us, Chris, here at 1:33. So
right
in the
up
next
behind
6
us,
minutes,
right?
yep, right behind us. Wow. It's already darkening quite a bit here across our area, and it's going to continue to get darker. And then we will have totality in Waco, and that is going to be right around 1:38 and 2 seconds. That, of course, it'll be a little sooner, around 1:36, as you head down into Bell County and to meteorologist Josh Johns. We have our camera network as well that we've been working with this, and we'll probably be able to show this, and we'll be able to see that as well. But I do want to toss it to Josh. Josh, it's your birthday. The total solar eclipse is right here. We're almost to totality. How excited are you now?
I'm pretty darn excited, man. I think it hit me when I looked up. And now, mind you, I wasn't trying to look directly at the sun, but I looked up right before I put the glasses on, and you could see a sliver of the sun because the cloud had obscured some of the light. That's how cool this is going to be when it happens. Of course, the cloud moved, and then it got too bright, and I had to throw the glasses back on. But safety first always. I've got to thank my parents for making sure that I was going to be having my birthday on this day. So pretty cool event. We're already seeing us get really close to totality. It's 1:29 according to our watch now. Officially at 1:36 we hit totality in Killeen, but already it just looks darn cool looking up. Occasionally we're getting these thicker clouds, but one thing I noticed, Matt, and you said this, and you know, your experience with Central Texas and Texas weather for that matter, you know a lot more than most folks that do this. And one thing you said was that the clouds would decrease as the eclipse came across. And I'm noticing the clouds are flatter. They aren't as thick as they were. So hopefully that bodes well that all I'll have to look through is some of the speckly high clouds or the speckly mid-level clouds that have gotten in the way. As they're passing through there, you're seeing glimpses. I know we're going to be able to at least see a glimpse of totality here in Killeen, and it's going to be cool. You can see all the folks getting ready. Noticeably darker here. We had to fire up the lights just to talk to you here through the camera, but it is going to be so cool when this happens. Everyone's excited. You heard Warren earlier. He's excited. I'm excited. The whole crew back here, Ariana, Doug, Shaw, Grant, Simona, Brianna, they are all excited. And we are so excited to bring this to you and show you this once-in-a-lifetime event, Matt. This is going to be so cool in less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, Josh, this is just absolutely amazing right now here with Chris. We have our kids right here as well, if we can get some shots of them with their glasses every once in a while. And we actually have studio lights on, too, just like Josh. You need them right now. It is really noticeably darker here across our area, and it's just going to continue to get darker. We're at 1:30, so nature should start reacting now. You're going to start seeing birds come back and start nesting. Oh, birds are coming down right here, right in front of us. They're starting to lower, and you can really tell that the shadow is almost complete, and we are just minutes away from totality, about 10 minutes or just under 10 minutes, actually. So we are almost there. Our sun right now here at our location is just behind a cloud, but I think it's going to clear just in time, the way it looks, as that continues to make its way across. Of course, we have some sixth graders here. Obviously, this is my first eclipse, so this is your first eclipse. Go real fast. How do you feel right now?
I'm really excited, especially for like all the animals to get out and like if it's going to get completely dark.
Yep.
I'm also really excited.
I'm really excited too.
I'm really excited just to see like all the animals come out and just get like really dark in like the middle of the day.
All right, and the boys?
I wanted to see it like show through the clouds, and I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm glad it's like happening right here in Waco too.
I'm excited just to experience it.
Yeah, I'm excited just to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. I'm excited because it's gonna be like dark and it's once like Reed said, it's only once in a lifetime, and I can see all the animals that aren't normally out come out.
Yep, it's very interesting, and it is definitely a lot cooler right now, and we're all excited. We are moments away from totality. I do have our resident astronaut here, Chris Cassidy, and we're almost there. Oh my gosh, you can see it right through the clouds right there. So everyone, the time is now. It's time to start watching the sun as we're about to achieve totality. It's in the clouds right now. We are 95% coverage of the sun, 95% coverage of the sun as this continues. Let's take our camera network. You can definitely tell it's a lot darker around here. So just intermingle that with the camera network. Josh is almost in totality there in Bell County. He is about 3 minutes away in Bell County. Bell County, you're about 3 minutes away. Oh, wow, you can look at right, wow. That's amazing. And just the physics of how this all comes together, Chris. We were talking about the speed earlier and everything like that. All of this has to line up just right.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me is all these celestial bodies are rotating among their own axis and about their systems, and then we're experiencing a moment when it's all lining up precisely for us to see totality.
Yes,
very, very
amazing.
rare.
Oh, the sun's out. Wow, just a little sliver is left, folks.
Look at that. It's just
We're
a
at
tiny
97%.
Unbelievable.
Wow. We're about to see Bailey's beads. We're about to see the diamond ring. Let's go to Josh down in Bell County. Josh, you're almost in totality. Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. Man, I could see the sky darkening by the minute here. It is incredible. I have to still wear my eclipse glasses just barely as we're seeing the last bit of that. And you can only see the smallest sliver through the eclipse glasses. So we are so close to totality. 1:33 now, 1:34 on the dot. We will be approaching it. 1:36 is when it starts here in Killeen already, though. Look at everyone. Just enjoying this. I can hear the astronomer we interviewed geeking out up there at the stage. I can hear everyone geeking out and see everyone geeking out. And I just looked up at the sun without glasses. Don't do that, but it's just that much left. So we are so close. You can see how noticeably darker it is. Matt, I had to wear a jacket earlier this morning because of some of the cooler air. I'm about to need the jacket again because right now I am starting to shiver just a bit from just being in short sleeves. So I think the temperature's dropped close to 10 degrees now just from this is coming over. and see it. You can literally see it getting darker right now here in Killeen at Central Texas College. We're at the eclipse over Central Texas, and everyone just having a blast looking at this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This is such a spectacle, such a blessing to be able to be right in the center of it all. We're just a few miles east of the center line, probably 10 miles east of the center line, which is in Lampasas County. We are in the very, very fringe of Coryell County, and we're getting closer and closer. It's 1:35 now, so in about one more minute, look how much darker it just got. Look how much darker it just got. Now, there is a cloud that's moving over right now, so that is just part of it, but this is insane. And now that the clouds are crisscrossed, it's crazy, but now that the clouds are starting to move a bit, they're covering just enough that I can see that last fringe of light. The last fringe of light as the moon shadow overtakes us. Look how dark it just got. This is incredible. This is incredible. Totality's coming in less than 30 seconds, folks, officially, and we will be like this for 4 minutes and about 18 seconds. This is incredible. You can see how dark it got. Doug is moving the camera now. So we'll be able to look up. Once this cloud moves, it is going to look incredible because now we are officially at totality. We'll let this cloud get out of the way. Doug, how far over can you come? That's about how far you can go. So here comes the cloud moving out of the way. Once this cloud moves, this is going to look incredible. But it's complete darkness right now. This is insane. We went from a bright, sunny, partly cloudy day to complete darkness here. Here moves this cloud. Once this cloud moves, you're going to see totality in Killeen at Central Texas College on April 8th, 2024. We're going to see totality here shortly. We are now officially at totality in Killeen. You can see how dark it is. The moon or the sun with the shadow over it. No shadow or no light coming out of it. Once this cloud moves, it's almost there. Do you see it yet, Doug? This is the last fringe of the cloud here. And once we see it here, I know Matt's watching it in Woodway too. There's all it is. Matt, let me know when you're ready, because we are almost here with this cloud out of the way to see what is left of the sun. This is going to be so cool. You can see the light, just the edge of the light. I can see a star now in the middle of the day. Here it is. You can hear the crowd going. There it is. Look at that. Look at that, folks. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Totality here in Killeen. Doug, I know you're getting this. This is awesome. What a birthday present. What a event to see this here in Central Texas. I got to snap a picture with my phone. I can't believe we got to see this. The sky is clearing perfect time. Matt, are you seeing this in Woodway right now?
Amazing. Yes, we are. We are past the diamond ring. We are past the diamond ring. Oh my gosh, I got to get a picture. Unbelievable. That is amazing.
4 minutes of this.
Wow, look at the corona. You can see everything right there. Unbelievable.
Hey, there's fireworks. Look at that.
Fireworks. We have fireworks.
Oh, wow.
Wow, look at that, folks. Look at that. That is absolutely amazing. Chris, to share this moment with you, it is completely dark.
Yeah, this is incredible. And to see the ring on the outside in this darkness and the temperature
you can see
change.
some of the fire around. You can see one of the corona. Oh, look at the bottom side.
Yeah, you sure can. Wow, this exceeded my expectations of coolness.
It's amazing. Wow. All right, I got to get my Chris. You taking it for a second. Stephanie, Addison, Austin.
Okay, guys, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
It's really cool. Yeah.
Is it darker than you thought it was going to be?
Yes. For sure.
Way darker, right?
It's really cool.
Me too. Me too.
You can see some.
Yeah, right on the edges there, in that like sort of orange thing on the bottom.
What an experience. Wow. And it is
And the
sunset
clouds
on
broke
all
free.
horizons right now. All horizons. Look, there's the planet. That's Jupiter right there, next to the moon. Wow.
Oh yeah, we have a baseball game over there. And we have school tomorrow. Oh, true. Doesn't feel like we should have school.
Wow, we got lucky with these clouds. Check that
Yeah.
out. For the whole,
Just amazing. And
the whole
again,
past-
there on the bottom side, you can see one of the solar flares coming out of the sun on that bottom side.
and it's
just
pretty intense,
absolutely
pretty
amazing.
intense,
Yes, it
like
is.
You can really see that.
And the corona, wow. Okay, what time is it? We're about to get the diamond ring again. We're about to get the diamond ring. So the moon's about to move off the sun. Wow, that was amazing how fast it got dark.
It really, really was.
Just absolutely amazing. So yeah, you can see the planets right now. You can see look at the western horizon. This will be the one time in your life where it'll get light in the west first and darker in the east. You're seeing sunrise on the western horizon right now. Wow. So the shadow is almost completely out. There's no amount of words.
It really is nightfall too. I was kind of expecting like this sort of just, still light, but just less intense. But no, this is no kidding nighttime.
Okay, we're about to get the diamond ring. We're almost out of totality. There it is. There's the diamond ring.
Oh, wow.
Wow. And that was totality. Wow. Now Bailey's beads on the backside. Wow. All right, glasses back on. Glasses back on. Wow, and the shadow just passes by. You can see it's now dark to the north of us, and it's light to the southwest.
Wow.
What an experience.
Time to wake up.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. I mean.
Oh, and the wind's picking. Did you feel that?
Yeah, the wind just picked up as well. The convection current's getting going as the sun's coming back out. We have now experienced a total eclipse.
We sure have.
Just absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
And I know I keep saying that over and over again, but I hope you feel the emotion of this day. I hope you remember this day. I hope you're with your family. I hope with your friends. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event. And I want to go back to Josh. Let's bring Josh back in if we can. Josh, what was that moment like for you?
I lost feed. Okay, we're here in Killeen. Matt, it was so cool to see that happen. You can see the sun already coming back out as if what in the world just happened? We went from sunny to dark to sunny again. That was a total solar eclipse, and we were so blessed. The clouds moved right at the perfect time, so we got a perfect view of totality. I am so happy that it worked out that way because we got to experience this once-in-a-lifetime event. You could hear everyone cheering as it started. The emotion was high here. I was excited. All of our crew was excited. We all were taking pictures. We were all just experiencing this, and how cool that we got to clear out. You could already feel the temperature rising too from the sun coming back up. But what a cool experience to experience not only here in Killeen, there in Woodway, Matt, but also across the rest of Central Texas as we are experiencing this total solar eclipse that is happening across the area in Central Texas. How neat is that we were able to see that in all its glory with the clouds starting to clear. I don't know if that's the same feeling you had, Matt, but my heart was racing. This was cool.
Yeah, my heart was racing too, Josh. It was absolutely an amazing experience. Everything I thought it was going to be. Totally nerding out here, and when you get to nerd out with Chris Cassidy, an astronaut, it's just
I'm right there with you, though.
It's just so amazing that humanity has seen this for centuries. They didn't totally understand it. Now, it didn't matter what race you were, what creed you were, what religion you were. We were all humanity looking up right at the eclipse. And just for that moment, we were all together. Just amazing.
Truly.
Yeah. So, what did y'all think over there? That was a pretty cool event right there. It's still on the cool side right now, but I'm sure it'll start warming up. But notice how all the clouds, they're gone. Because of totality, what happened is the cumulus clouds, they literally have faded away. And we have meteorologist Caleb Chevalier, who's in studio, and I'm sure you can see that on the visible satellite, Caleb. It's amazing how all this has worked out.
Experience here, Matt. We didn't get to see it enter totality because we had a cloud conveniently parked right at the shot outside the studio. I was looking at that along with Shaji and some of our crew outside, and we knew it was in totality because it was so dark. And then finally the cloud moved, and there it was. It was just so perfect to see that. And it was the fastest 4 minutes of my life. I wish it could have gone a little slower. And now we're in the partial eclipse phase as the moon is exiting that sun, and then suddenly we have more to talk about. What a busy day weather-wise. We have a new bulletin to get to from the National Weather Service. There is a tornado watch that has been issued for parts of the region until 8 a.m. No tornado warnings. We actually don't have any storms in the area yet. But this does look like we have that tornado watch for these counties shaded in blue. And let me know, guys, if you want me to fill the whole 4 minutes, because we can do that here if we need be. Okay, we got you 2 minutes there. So this tornado watch goes until 8 o'clock for these counties shaded in blue. It's east of Waco, southeast of Waco, and in the Brazos Valley. That's there because we anticipate those thunderstorms to be potentially tornadic producers later on this afternoon, especially in those zones, but could along I-35 as well also be the case. So we're going to talk more about that here in just a little bit, but I do want to jump back to the satellite picture because like Matt said, it is in fact really kind of clear almost in several places because, well, the visible picture isn't going to do us much good because now the sun is really just almost completely hidden still. But we noticed the same thing here at the studios where the clouds, they fizzled out. All those cumulus clouds lost the solar energy needed to sustain themselves because those are basically just driven by daytime heating, and most of them disappeared. And we just had that one hanging out in front of the sun for a bit, and that moved away, and we got a great view here at the station. We were going to take that shot from our tower camera, or actually not just the tower camera, but the camera we had posted up down in the corner, and it's good again. You can actually see it. That's what it looks like now. We were going to take that shot during totality, but it was actually bright enough to where the filter that we had on it couldn't handle it. So it was really just a magnificent picture. But again, a lot of the clouds have just faded away. Our attention now turns to this storm cluster right here. It's northwest of Houston, nothing severe yet. It's got some lightning in it. It's moving north. These could potentially become producers of severe weather a little later on. We'll have more on that, of course, as we go throughout the afternoon, giving you some periodic updates. But let's breathe for a little bit. Let's enjoy the moment, enjoy what we got to see. And, of course, we're going to be remembering this one for a long, long time. Isn't that right, Matt?
Yeah, it's definitely a memory that we're all going to have. You're going to remember where you were, what time it was, who you were with. Just an amazing experience here across Central Texas. And we're going to take a break real quick. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about the new tornado watch that was issued. Finish up with Chris Cassidy here and everything. But Chris, real quick, just how amazing was the experience for you, just emotionally as a person?
Just kind of feeling that each moment I thought, okay, that's about as dark as it's going to get. And then it just kept getting darker and darker. And realizing that the cloud was passing us by at 1,500 miles an hour, or the shadow was passing us by at 1,500 miles an hour. Just incredible. Cool experience.
The street lights came on. It was, I mean, that was truly incredible. And as Caleb said, I think that was the fastest 4 minutes of my life. It went by so incredibly fast. And we had all the build-up. It's like Christmas morning, you know? You have the build-up to Christmas, and then, oh, well, now it's time to move on and get back to normal life, and we will be doing that. We are going to go to break here real quick, and once we come back, we will talk about some of our severe weather chances. Yeah, the red tide may come on later on today, but what an experience here in Central Texas. I'm glad we got to share it with you, folks. We'll be right back. All right, we are back here live, and the eclipse continues to make its way off to the northeast, over into Arkansas. Folks up into the northeast and the Ohio Valley, they're about to get an experience of a lifetime. Chris, just an amazing experience here, and we're about to toss it back to Caleb, but some final thoughts from you?
Yeah, the next one, 2025, right?
2045.
2045, yeah. Excuse me. And, you know, more than likely, you won't be the chief meteorologist anymore, and we'll both just be sitting back watching other people do this. So
let's make a date.
Very glad to
let's
share
make
this
a date right there.
Yep, let's get together in that year, and I look forward to it. Amazing. Thanks for sharing this with me today.
Yeah, it was amazing. And, of course, I'm glad everyone got to see it here. All of our production crew came out, and it was just an experience that I just really have no words for. It was almost a religious experience, and maybe you had that too, and everyone's going to have their own opinion on that. But I do want to send it back to Caleb. We do have some serious things to talk about, unfortunately. We have a tornado watch that's been issued. Caleb, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Matt. And yes, that is hot off the press from the Storm Prediction Center, a tornado watch that has been issued for parts of our viewing area. The county shaded in blue here. That's going to be Limestone County, Freestone County, and points down to the south, includes the Brazos Valley as well. That runs until 8 o'clock. And that's because, again, that potential is there this afternoon and this evening as well for some thunderstorms to be on the severe side, with perhaps some damaging winds, some large hail. I think large hail could be the primary threat out of these, but definitely some potential for a few tornadoes in there as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the radar is showing right now. And that watch came out a little early because we have a line of thunderstorms that actually perked up a little bit sooner than expected. It's south of the Brazos Valley right now. This is I-10, so you've got a line stretching from Highway 77 through Brenham back toward the southern part of Grimes County and out to West Livingston, with a lot of lightning in there, some heavy rain. None of these are severe right now, but there's the thinking that these could eventually become the storms that could turn severe in central Texas and the Brazos Valley later. And if not these, there would likely be another round developing behind them that could become severe later on this afternoon. Now, from a future track standpoint, here's what that looks like. So we just got through the eclipse, and thank goodness we were able to see some clearing for that. And then by really over the next few hours, and certainly the mid-afternoon and late afternoon hours, these storms are really going to be rocking and rolling over the eastern half of our region, maybe even to the west of 35 as well. We can't rule that out. Eastern zones have the best opportunity, but some isolated potential for severe weather exists for places like Killeen and Gatesville and Meridian as well as we go into this evening. And then tomorrow morning, we've got more heavy rain on the way, some thunderstorms. These could be on the strong to severe side too, but how tomorrow plays out is going to depend on a lot how today plays out. So we'll know more about tomorrow's threat once we get through this evening. So just as a reminder, the map that we've painted for you has potential for scattered severe thunderstorms across these orange zones, and that's basically a line from Gatesville and Killeen east, a little bit more isolated as you head out to the west, but in these zones, this is kind of what we're expecting, and it goes hand in hand with that tornado watch. Hail could be on the large side with these storms, and that might actually be the primary threat, with some hail in the realm of maybe hen egg size. That's 2-inch in diameter, maybe a little bit more than that. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. 65-mile-per-hour winds with some of these storms. We do have on the tornado scale a 4 out of 10. We could be seeing a few of those. The environment is conducive for that as we go into later on this evening. And flooding looks to be a little bit more of an issue out to our north and east, but we can't rule out a little bit of that becoming a localized issue across parts of our area as well. We'll continue to follow that very closely as we go throughout the afternoon. We transition from eclipse mode to severe weather mode, but for now, we're still going to talk about the eclipse for a little while longer as we go back to Matt.
All right, thank you, Caleb, for that. And it looks like I'll be coming into the studio probably today as well. Josh has the Storm Wrangler already with him. So, hey, we're already ready to go on part 2 of our day, which will be the potential of severe weather, and that will be rolling into the Brazos Valley here in the next hour or so, and then continuing up east of I-35. A few storms may still develop west of I-35 as well, but part 1 of our story we're finalizing, and Chris was just saying the backside of the eclipse gets no love.
Gets no love. You know, we were geeking out like crazy at 75% blockage on the front side, and now here we are. But yeah,
I mean, it's still pretty spectacular.
It's still amazing.
When you look up,
it's hard to have that feeling of, yeah, we've seen 100. We don't care about this 70% stuff. But nonetheless, it's cool all the way around, the whole process.
I got to experience the annular eclipse in San Antonio back in October. And that was cool, and it got dark and everything, but complete totality like that, seeing that the corona, seeing that coronal mass, I don't know if that was a mass ejection or not. I don't know what that was.
The whole thing far exceeded my expectations of my mental image of what we were going to, how dark it was going to be. And then just like you said, at totality, that ring and the flare coming off, for us it was on the bottom. Just like you said, once in a lifetime, and amazing to experience it.
So 2045, remember?
Yep, we got it.
You already committed.
Yep, I committed.
2045, we'll do this again, but that'll be in Oklahoma. That will not be for Central Texas. It's going to be hundreds of years before we get another one like this in Central Texas. And I think that one that crosses through Oklahoma in 2045 may clip the northeastern Texas panhandle. So Texas will be in one, but just barely as we head toward 2045. So we're about to sign off here. But just one heck of a day here across our area. The first half of the day, clouds clearing out just in time for us. There are thunderstorms coming in this evening, but I do want to reflect back just at the amazing moment that we all shared together. I've been here for quite some time now here in Central Texas, and I would have to say that's one of the most amazing events that I've ever experienced in my lifetime, especially doing it on air, especially doing it with our on-air family as well. So thank you very much for watching our eclipse coverage, and we will continue to track any storms that move into our area for tonight. But just an amazing experience. I hope you had a great one as well. For Chris Cassidy, for Matt Hines, for Josh Johns, for Caleb Chevalier, for all of our production staff, for our news staff, all the reporters out in the field, all the hard work, thank you very much. And thank you for watching the solar eclipse of 2024. What an amazing time.